Right, morning everybody. It's about 8:30 a.m. in Burgos. I stayed at this hotel last night. Hotel Azafra, which is alright. I just put the bike in here. But I've noticed from all the off-road work, this has started to unpick a little bit. So I'm going to have to lighten this one a little bit, just so it doesn't put too much strain on it. And just get a little bit of stitching put on there when we get back. Other than that, I'm just going to do a bit of a chain maintenance because I haven't done it in a while. I'm going to put the bike against the tree so it can't go anywhere, and then oil the chain. To be honest, I'm not that impressed with Burgos. People say, oh, it's the gateway to Spain. It's a beautiful city. I think it's probably a beautiful central part of it, but on the outskirts they've just built a huge array of apartment blocks. So yeah, hotel, it was alright. I mean, it didn't blow me away. Girl on the reception desk was a little bit standoffish, which is a bit annoying because it was like €60. I think I will just fill the vehicle. You've got to stop here, bear in mind, because pedestrians have right away. We got the Optima. Go for that one, I think. Optima. Sí. Gracias. Buenos días. Sí. To the top, gracias. Oh, perfecto. Yeah, sí. Vale.
Muchas gracias y buen día.
Jakarta? Ah, different machine. Muchas gracias. Right, off we go. I do like starting the day with a full tank of premium unleaded. You just feel like it's one less thing to worry about. You don't have to refill. And one thing I would say to people is, when you're up in the mountains and stuff, you could probably go like 30 or 40 miles, depending on the road you go, without seeing a fuel station. So do bear that in mind. You know, it's not like Spain is a more spacious country than the United Kingdom. In the UK, you're probably not going to be able to go 10-15 miles are you without a fuel station. The other good thing about riding in Spain, right, if you're just trundling along at the speed limit, no one gets pissed off. No one sort of rides or drives right up behind you. It's just, they just go around and that's that. I could be doing 20 along here and nobody would get pissed off. It's amazing. People are more patient. Right, let's have a look at there. Here you go. N267. So I just need to follow the sign for that. Boom. Good to get that in your eyes. On the camera, but I'm rolling down on this Ortavia, which I think is just a little stretch before we get on the correct road. But look at the cloud, which is low lying. It's like a mist either side of the carriageway. yeah, look over there on the left. Right, this is an example of an N road, or red on the Michelin map. It's called the N627 from Burgos up to Aguilar de Campo, and you see sort of like a 60-mile-an-hour road. It's fairly fast and flowing. There's a fair amount of traffic and trucks and stuff, well surfaced. Now, if you've got a bigger adventure, right, then this is perfect to cover distance quickly. If you want a BSA or Royal Enfields, particularly the smaller engine Royal Enfields, it will feel like a bit of a slog. So bear that in mind. Although it's smooth, you can cover ground. If you want a 350, you're going to be screaming it at 60. You're going to be flat out almost going up this hill here. I just turned the camera on for nothing other than this is probably the best lighting I think I've ever seen. Look at my shadow with the bike there, plodding along. I mean, the road's not that special, but wow. This is like Hollywood lighting, isn't it? N267 north to Aguilar. But there you go, little descend down now, but the magic is real. The magic is real. Look at this. I've totally misjudged the temperature this morning. I thought I'd just wear a t-shirt under my jacket and the single skin gloves because it's sunny. And I've woken up and it's absolutely bolting. We're doing a stint at high speed, which is freezing my hands, and it's got that like freezing early morning feel in the air. But anyway, hopefully time's on our side, isn't it? As longer time goes on, the sun will warm us up. The other thing about N roads is the red routes. It's okay, they're not as bad as a motorway, but they're kind of a fast A road, aren't they? You don't go through those little villages with cantinas on the side of the road, and you can just pull over and you might have an interaction with some local people. Here it's just kind of a little bit soulless, isn't it? Okay, you can make ground quickly, but if that's your objective, fine, but isn't really my aim. I've got 44 kilometres on this road. I'm going to have to stop before then, aren't I? Because it is really cold. Right, I just stopped on the N267. And it's not a little village, it's just a Repsol fuel station, but they've got a restaurant there. Bar, restaurant, El Motoro, like the motorcycle like restaurant. So I didn't even notice that, I just intuitively pulled over. I thought it'd be a good idea. And then the bloke's a motorcycle enthusiast, so I'm going to give him a plug. If you're on the N267 heading north or south, then do stop here, because obviously Repsol's high quality fuel, but also the bloke's just really nice, and he had a great breakfast. Another tip as well: don't have the hotel breakfast. It's usually crap. It's just like pastries and cheese and ham. It's not going to fill you up. Whereas here, the proper tortilla, Spanish tortilla, and it's just really hearty and cheap as you like. It's like €2.20 for a big portion with bread on the side. Honestly, you won't go far wrong if you stop off in local places and get a breakfast. Right, the breakfast of a humble caballero. That was lush. It's amazing, right? You go. I know I've just said it. I'm just repeating myself.
But you could have a breakfast that costs 20 and it's horrible. Okay, you get to sit in a little posh like restaurant to eat it, or you can stop on the road and have a breakfast that costs €2.20. Phenomenal. Oh, I suppose if you want a coffee or something, it's another $1.30, but it's still several times cheaper. So we're back on the road. Back on the road. These red roads now actually become a little bit better, because you see they built the Altavia. They're sanitizing the roads really. They built the Altavia over there. You can see that blue container truck go past, which means that heavy traffic won't use this route anymore. The only problem is where they replace this with that, you'll be on a not as enjoyable road. But if this is just left, you can enjoy this road and let all the heavy traffic use the Altavia. It's a little bit like Route 66. If you've ever been on Route 66, you'll note that the interstate basically replaces it, kind of similar to this. You got this old kind of traditional Route 66 2 lanes highway, and then you've got the big interstate sort of next to it, but you can still take the old road, which obviously I'd recommend doing. These roads always remind me of this scene in Terminator 2 at the very end, when Sarah Connor drives her, I think it's a Jeep Wrangler, along the road, and there's mountains in the background, and she says something like, "There is no fate but what we make for ourselves." Like, one of my favourite scenes in that film, and the film is one of my favourite films. And it's that like driving off into I think it's like either New Mexico or actually going into Mexico. And yeah, you just see the kind of profile of the mountains as the backdrop. It's quite inspiring, and also quite true, because we're now living in an age of AI, which people are beginning to get worried about. So that was that film obviously had some kind of future telling in it. James Cameron, probably a smart man. Ah, there you go, guys. There you can see the main. We're going to go under the main Altavia. Nobody on my road, you see. But the A73, which we're going to go under, will have some traffic on it. Right, just look at the view you got here, right? It's not anything particularly special, but it just strikes me. So I got these big birds of prey circling around above, looking for the smaller birds. A long straight road, golden light, mountains coming up into the middle ground, and you can see the clouds, which is obviously that water vapour condensing as it's pushed up over the mountains, which is quite spectacular. And then up top we got the moon surrounded by like a beautiful blue sky. Like, I don't often get kind of like poetic on this channel, but it's you won't see it on this wide angle lens either, but if you trust me, the moon is looking pretty magical. And then out in front you got a bloke in a silver Suzuki Jimny, the original, just living his best life. So it doesn't really get much better. You got blue, you got... Right, you got to be careful not to fill your bike up with the wrong stuff. Hola! Because it's not black and green. Hi, It's okay, I can do it. Gracias. Whew. Yeah, so you can have blue for fuel, you can have yellow for diesel. And I know that people have done that, filled their bike up with diesel over in Spain. It's very hard to get it unless you have the tank drained. There we go. Oh, red over there for diesel. Red pump.
That's it. Right, I've just stopped on the CL266, which is heading, basically tracking along the south of the Picos and the Cantabrian mountains, and just filled with fuel. I'm going to just do a bit of the chain maintenance whilst we're here, and I'll just show you how I've worked out the easiest way to get the bike up on the rear wheel and oil the chain with the Gold Star. So basically I look at a little bit of a slope like this, so it's rolling down a slope, but the front wheel can rest against the curb, and that way the bike's not going to move backwards because it's up the slope, and it's not going to move forwards. Do that way. It's not going to move backwards because it's going down the slope, and it's not going to move forwards because it's into the curb, and that way the bike's quite stable on the little portable jack. So I'll just show you how it works, because I think if you do buy this jack and you're doing it on the road, it's kind of a nice tip. Goes. So, sorry it's into the sun. Hopefully you can still see, but yeah, only do it just enough to get the rear wheel moving. You see, you don't want to go up any higher on quite an unstable platform. Just pulled over on the CL626. Look at this place. Disused industrial works of some description. Crazy. Look at this little bridge. I'm just going to stop and take a photo. Seems to be a little bit like South Wales in a way. There seems to be pit mines that are abandoned everywhere. So I just stopped off at this little town. Really, I was amazed at this structure here. Look at the size of it. Pozo Herrera number 2. So this bloke shouts at me now for popping in here. Look at it though. Huge building.
He's not looking at me, so I can continue to go. Wow. I don't know what they used to do here, but just a big rusting hulk of a thing. Oh, now it's used to store hay. So someone's getting some use out of it. They're using it like a giant barn. It just caught my eye. It's huge. Towards Bonar. Shouldn't really laugh at that. Very childish. "11 kilometers to Bonar."
Oh. Is close?
No, it's open.
Oh. Is someone getting married?
I don't know.
Oh.
¿Dónde estaban?
Oh. Hola. Hi. Hola. Oh. Café solo, por favor.
Un café solo.
Sí, yeah. Agua caliente.
Agua caliente. Sí.
Sí, gracias. Oh, gracias.
A ti.
That's great.
¿Quieres tortilla o pastel?
Aquí. Here.
Sí, tortilla o pastel.
Oh,
O tortilla. Pastel o tortilla de patata.
oh, yeah, sí. I'll have that. Gracias.
A ti.
Oh, so cool. Just a little thing. El Cruce Cafe Bar must mean the cockerel.
I doubt it means the chicken, does it? Well, maybe it does. But yeah, that was just really nice. This is part of the travelling experience for me. I just love stopping, practicing my Spanish. I mean, yeah, okay, it's nothing to write home about. I'm just ordering a drink or whatever. But up here, they never even try and speak to you in English. Like she said, tortilla or pateria or something, and it basically meant a cake or a Spanish tortilla, which you get with your drink. So I was, it took me a while, but I kind of like that because now I'll remember what that means, that word means, because she's actually spoke to me in Spanish. So I like that. Hey, there's that little Suzuki Jimny we saw earlier. I was speaking to Exeter Rider a little while ago. Go and look up his channel, he's great, he's really good. And he was saying, oh, there's another BSA video out. So I was like, oh, who's this then? He's like, oh, I don't know, I think the bloke lives in Exeter, he's bought a BSA. But like, there's so many people who just buy BSAs now. I don't think any of them will keep them that long. I think it's like a trendy in thing to do is to buy bargain basement BSA. It used to be Royal Enfield, didn't it? That was the bike that everybody used to buy on the cheap Interceptors and Meteors and so on. Now they buy a BSA. So we're trying to work out who now has bought a Gold Star. But hey, I mean, if these people like their bikes, maybe it'll be good for the brand and more people will get into it. So the BSA on tour, it could have gone horribly, and it's turned out quite good. So let's think about it. Obviously I've got 45 horsepower, so not loads, but I've got a fair bit of torque, so going up and down the hills is good. Easy enough, I don't have to change gear continuously. It's got 5 gears, and 50 miles an hour equivalates, because we're in 5th now, it equivalates to about 3,000 RPM, which you can see there. Obviously it goes up to 7. The 10 is misleading. Actually there's a rev limiter at 7. So yeah, it seems to do alright. I will calculate the fuel and we'll work out what the BSA is doing per miles per gallon. I don't think it'll be that good. It won't be Meteor 350 good or anything like that. Riding condition, nice and comfortable. The seat's pretty comfortable. I'm not doing huge miles. I think up at sort of 150, 170 per day is probably the highest mileage. But for that it's fine. I think if you were probably to do sort of 400, 500 miles, yeah, you might start to ache and stuff. But it's a traditional style motorcycle. This is how motorcycles would have been in the past. And people rode around the multiple worlds. They rode around the world on motorcycles in the past, which were configured like this. So surely it can't be that bad. Right, we've got 55 kilometers to go to Villa Polino, and then the CL626 becomes the AS15, and then it's a long slog up to Cangas del Narcia. Cangas del Narcia, that's our final destination today. But on the plus side, everything's got a little bit nicer in terms of the scenery and the mountains, the roads and so on and so forth. See? All these old structures up there. Like, what was that? Steps going up to it, and they haven't made that in 2024, have they? That's something from history. Oh, it's looking great over here. Blue sky as well. I always record a big section, right, and then it's cloudy the whole time, and then as soon as I sort of like say everything I got to say, the sun comes out, and I just think, well, wouldn't that be nicer if it'd been sunny when I was saying it, or if let's put me in perspective, if I had said it when it was sunny. Obviously I'm a much smaller factor than nature. The other bike is obviously the BSA 650 Scrambler. Yeah, would I be tempted to go for that, bearing in mind what I used my bike for? And the answer is obviously yes. Now, I'm like everyone else, I wouldn't get a good trade-in for my bike, so it'd have to be a bit of a suck it up moment. So yeah, I at the moment, given that I have so much fun on this bike, and of course I don't have a job at the moment, I don't know if I told you guys that, I resigned from my job back at the year. I finished at the end of July, and so buying new bikes now has to be a really thought out thing, and obviously I'm on a budget. So yeah, that's just that. Obviously I got some money set aside to keep me and Sue's roof above our head, and to keep doing this. I'm not becoming a YouTuber full time, you'll be pleased to know, or maybe you won't be pleased to know. But yeah, people say I quit my job to do YouTube with 10,000 subscribers. I didn't quit my job to do YouTube. I quit my job because I couldn't do another decade in corporate America, to tell the truth. I haven't told you guys about that actually, but yeah, it had to be done. Quite a difficult decision, obviously, because it was one of these golden handcuff situations where you're well looked after with benefits, but you sell your soul as a result. And it is literally soul destroying, like, trust me. Sat on Teams meetings talking about sales numbers and things. Yeah, sure, when the product's good and things are positive and everything, sales can be fun, but you're only as good as your last quarter. And I kind of made a few moves to transition, to see if I could string out my career in the company. I obviously liked the company. I moved around different departments, but the fact of the matter is I don't take orders very well. I hate being told what to do. I'm a little bit like on the spectrum, and so I wasn't really that passionate about it towards the end. Still like everybody there, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure for a lot of people it'll be a good company. CEO is kind of cool, kind of liked him, but I'm not sitting on Teams meetings just, you know, wanting to shoot myself. I remember I kind of listened to a recording of myself, and like I'm talking to you guys, oh, the BSA. Just picture me sat at Teams meetings, and imagine I was talking like this. I filled the BSA with fuel because this fuel station here is not open, so I decided to fill the tank earlier on this road. Now there was a little cow down there. We call that a calf. I was literally speaking like that. It was awful, and I thought, why is it when I'm talking on a YouTube video, obviously I like motorcycles as I like motorcycle travel, I'm buzzing to say stuff, and on these meetings I just felt like it was a witch hunt, and everything I said was, it was like risk averse. I didn't want to say it because I felt like somebody catches you out. Is that kind of culture? And I thought, so I didn't say anything, and you notice everybody sort of in the lower ranks doesn't say anything because they know that, like, you don't want to get caught out. It's like that kind of risk management thing that big companies have. And then the same senior people do the same lines all the time, and you just think, gosh, this is like Groundhog Day. And funnily enough, after I said I handed in my notice, the woman who hired me originally, I like her, so I went to have a coffee with her after I said I'd resign, you know, just sort of like a farewell thing. And she said, oh, by the way, I resigned 14 months ago. Or what? Yeah, I did an 18-month notice period, so she'll actually be finishing at the end of the year too. So I'm basically trying to, I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'm going to do something, I'm going to do this for a while. We're just going to have a nice time, almost like pitch it as a career break. You've got to have some enjoyment in what you do. And in fact, I would happily now trade less money for more enjoyment. Chasing money and status is just soul destroying. And the other thing is, the more money you earn, the more you get taxed. So you're kind of shafted. There's no point in earning a good salary anymore because you get absolutely hammered by tax. The only way around that is to have your own company and pay corporation tax. But then when you want to sell the whole enterprise, you're going to get hammered by capital gains. So there's no easy way out. There's no easy way out. I actually think just trying to focus on being happy is better than focusing on a career these days. I mean, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The blessing about pretty much all these countries is that this wide open, no hedgerows, no traffic, no congestion. It's just absolutely peaceful and enjoyable riding. It's like the UK in 1950, something like that. Look at it. Rarely, I don't think I've overtaken anyone today. I've been riding for hours and I haven't overtaken a single person. Just plodding in peace. Right. Welcome back. The final stretch, AS15, and the weather's really turned, so this is meant to be the most spectacular road as well. I can't see a thing. Well, everybody wanted to know what my tyres like in the wet. I'm sure we're going to find out, but cannot see anything, and I'm slowly getting soaked through. I sprayed, this is stupid, but I sprayed my trousers with the waterproofer that Susie bought me, and then I was going to take the other jacket, so I sprayed that jacket and not this one. And at the last minute, on the day I was leaving, I said, oh, I'll take the jacket that goes with the trousers, and I didn't spray it, so it's slowly coming through my arms. Idiot. And now I actually wish I had sprayed it. Now I don't know how far we've got because I don't have the sat nav on, but it's got to be a good 50 kilometers, if not more. I'm cold and damp, but I've arrived at Cangastel Nasia. It doesn't even look that nice, really, does it? Looks a bit Bulgarian, and that's no offence to Bulgaria. I do love Bulgaria, but not a lovely start to the town. So yeah, it's kind of not this like rustic alpine retreat, is it? Go round me. You can tell I'm a bit irritable, can't you? Someone's rushing me and I'm like looking for my accommodation.
Right, this is the Parador, which is actually located in the Monastery de Corias. So it's not in Cargas de la Nasia. It's actually outside in Corias. But that's the monastery behind me, so I'm just going to park the bike and then I'll show you around. It's absolutely wild though. It's the best Parador I've stayed in so far. I'll show you the inside. Right, we've just arrived in the basement of the Parador and it's in Corias. Now let me just show you what happens when you walk out of the basement towards the reception. This is actually something they discovered when they were digging the foundations to put the underground parking in. It's the original remains of the monastery. This is probably one of the best hotels I think probably one of the nicest ones I've ever stayed in. I've stayed in loads of nice hotels for my work. This hotel, if you think it was 80 euros, it's about 70 pounds. This hotel, if it was in the UK or US, it'd be like 350. No question. It would be phenomenal. Look, this is the way in now. All in the use. There's the swimming pool somewhere. Oh, is it this way? Look at this. Oh, hello.
Hola.
Hola. Is this swimming pool through here?
El swimming pool es la primera puerta a la izquierda, esta de aquí.
Okay.
Esto es el spa.
Spa. Okay, see. Gracias.
Nada.
Right, and that's the spa. I'll just show you the room first, but even the corridor. Right, so this is the second floor, and then look out the window. The size of those trees. Staircase. That's obviously the same staircase. Look at this. Look at this corridor. Each of the rooms is individually named as well. Just show you my room. It's actually unreal. Look outside. So it's a monastery, that's the original use of the building. But like to have a hotel stay like this for £70, it's got a spa, swimming pool, everything. It's just such a nice environment. And if you think you're going to be paying like 45, 48 for a horrible hotel, it like, look in the bathroom, let's just look in the bathroom. That bath is like a swimming pool. It's absolutely huge. I've just lucked out. So, although I criticised the Paradors before for being a little bit expensive, they are a little bit more money, but the jump up you get it's like 5 times as good or 10 times as good as these hotels. There's a wine tasting experience. There's obviously the restaurants. Yeah, I'm gonna have a look round and I'll do a bit of videoing because it's just really, really nice.